very fast. I caught them. People can slow it down, but yeah, I heard squat or hip hinge in there. Could you list off the 6 things that you consider? And I realize there are many, many more exercises, but what are the 6 that you listed off?
My top 6 are squats, bench press, deadlifts, military press, chin-ups, and hip thrusts.
Great.
And if you do those 6 lifts, so it's like, I loved powerlifting, but if you just did the 3 lifts, your shoulders might not be maximally developed. Your lats might not max. You might be leaving some room for glute growth on the table. And so this, in my opinion, you're going to develop all your muscles with these 6 lifts.
Squat, bench press, deadlift, military press, which is overhead press.
Overhead press.
Could be standing, could be seated, front of, et cetera.
Well,
then chin and hip thrust. And there could be variations.
All
on
the
these.
variations of those. But let me tell you a lesson I learned. In 2020, we have the quarantine, right? We're all so bored.
And stressed.
People
were bored and stressed
bored
at the
and
same
stressed.
time. Yeah.
I have a gym in San Diego, and it's like, I remember like week 1 of the quarantine, I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'm lucky. I have a gym. I can go to the gym. I don't have to do these silly body weight workouts that we're telling everyone to do. I can actually still use all the machines and the free weights. And I had my client Allegra call me, Coach, you know me, I'm going to go crazy. You know my mental health. I have to be lifting weights. I'm like, well, come to the gym with me. Who's going to know? And then, California was pretty hardcore, but I'm like, I don't want I know it was like this is a sensitive topic because people were dying back then. How tragic, but I'm a very social person, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to let my clients come and train with me. Well, long story short, 2020 was sad enough, probably the best year of all of our lives. We'll say it was the best year. We lifted weights all day long because you weren't so focused on your career back then and posting to social media. You were just trying to survive each day, and you weren't even allowed to post on social media about like your workouts and stuff because you weren't supposed to be in a gym. So my clients would come to me for 2-3 hours a day, six days a week. I was in the gym all day long, and all of a sudden I'm like, Jesus, my clients are getting so freaking strong. They're insane right now. They're so strong. So that's when I thought up the idea of strong lifting. It's like powerlifting is the 3 lifts, strong lifting is the 6 lifts. Those 6 lifts I just mentioned. We're gonna start competing, and I did this like psychological trick where I'd have my computer up and I'd have the spreadsheet, and I'd have all my clients' names and all their strength, and they'd start looking because I gave awards out so if you got the absolute best or the relative best, strength divided by body weight, at any lift, and then we had the total lift, and then we had strongest upper body, strongest lower body, strongest presser, which were squats, military, and bench, strongest puller, which was chin-ups and deadlifts. So I have strongest lower body, strongest upper body. We could mix it around. I had like 55 awards I'd give out. But the point was, the women would go, like my clients, like Amanda would be like, Carly just hit a PR. Ugh, I got to beat her. Like they got competitive with it. And so
were they training these every single day of those 6 days per week?
No, I would say we did kind of like the lower, because they wanted to come in every day. They were bored to death. So we'd have 3 lower body days, and we would do probably a variation of each, but some days it would be like we're trying to squat really hard. Some days we're trying to deadlift hard. You can't squat, deadlift, and you could hip thrust hard 3 times a week. That works you in the squeeze position. It doesn't beat you up as much. But as we started getting stronger at deadlifts, we realized some things. We were doing touch and go, meaning you bounce the weight up. You don't reset. You don't set the weight down, reset it, then lift it up. You're stronger when you do touch and go compared to reset reps. I remember my client Ashley Hodge hits 315 for 18 reps. And like Dominique gets it 315 for 11 reps. And it's the environment's crazy. We have their PR song going on. What song do you want to hear? It's blaring it at max volume. And you have 10, 20 of your lifting partners, your colleagues around going, come on, you got it, come on. The videos back then were crazy. And they're hitting these crazy PRs. And then they say to me, Coach, I don't know. Cool, I set a deadlift PR, a touch and go PR, and then I'm sore for my next week and a half is shot. It can take, when you're really training that kind of psychological arousal, when you're training that hard and doing like some lifts, like that hack squat you have at your place. It's more horizontal. You can keep going with it. If I'm there going, come on, Andrew, you got this, keep going. You get in some zone. There's some lifts where you can just keep going. And then it annihilates you so bad, your knees are sore for a week. So we kind of realized then we're not going to train with that. We're not going to yell at each other. We're not going to train with music. It beats you up too much. We're not going to do touch and go. We're going to do reset reps, and we're going to do lower reps with stricter form because they beat you up too much. So we learned when we were training for it, we learned some stuff can beat you up too much, and you don't know that until you've hit it, until you've worked that hard and you got really strong. Most of the listeners, Ashley Hodge weighed 130 pounds and hit 315 for 18. Now she's even stronger, but most people never train that hard. Most people need to train harder. Then there's the category that people who train too hard. What we now know is that that Arthur Jones back in the day, the Mike Mentzer approach, hit once all out set to failure. That probably is the most efficient way to train, the most economical way to train. You're in the gym, you can be in the gym 45 minutes twice a week and make good gains. The problem is it leads to injuries over time if you don't rotate the exercise, and you don't have to perform every set to failure. In fact, there's some evidence now emerging that you can get just as much hypertrophy, similar strength gains, but you might want to leave a rep or two in the tank and do a little more volume. So everything's very nuanced, but when I moved away from San Diego, I moved to Vegas. My squad is left to train on their own. Well, I was always there to watch them, and so if I'm training you, Andrew, and you're like, coach, my low back feels a little off. And then I'm going, okay, we're not deadlifting today. Or if you're like, my knee feels weird today. Okay, we're not going to squat today. We're going to do this instead. I'm there to swap it out. But if I'm not there and you push yourself through it and you do that for a few weeks, now it becomes a chronic problem and it takes a long time to go away. So now my clients are getting, with me not being there, they're getting injured more often. They start developing nagging low back pain and things like that. So now I've learned I still love strong lifting, but you can't just keep getting stronger at the main barbell lifts week in, week out. You've got to introduce more variety. So we now cycle things around and we stray, but it's still about progressive overload, but we incorporate more machines, more, like you said, overhead press. It could be dumbbells, it could be Smith machine, it could be barbell, it could be seated, standing. But you can pick a lift like what Louis Simmons would do back in the day. You can pick a lift and get stronger at it for a few weeks, for a month, and then recycle it. So we're always using progressive overload, but you can't always just go set all-time PRs every week in the gym. It doesn't work that way. And that's the hardest thing to instill into people is this topic of progressive overload. What does that look like over the long haul? What does it look like over a 30-year lifting career?
One of the things that I've done as the years have gone by in order to generate hypertrophy and strength increases, but not necessarily by always trying to add more weight, is to change my mindset around lifting, where after a couple of warm-ups, do the work sets. Typically for me, that's 2 to 4 work sets per exercise. Generally it's 2, occasionally 3, rarely 4. But the idea is to make the final reps of each set, each work set that is, as difficult as possible. It's